You're talking a mixed residential community where a fire is right in the center of it right now. We've got chopper 8 on the way, and we've got a ground crew on the way as well to give us an idea of what these flames look like. And we know firefighters are on it right now, only a few acres, but they're concerned that this fire could spread to as much as 100 acres. And we know one person has already been injured by the flames in this.
And as we're looking at the Genesis app, we do have that app pulled up, and that's the one that alerts to evacuation warnings and mandatory evacuations. This is the view right now off the 15.
So this is the 15 headed north. Off to the west, you'll see that major apartment complex. This is in the Mira Mesa area, and then the Denny's off to the right. So they are in the carpool lane heading on the 15 north. That's Black Mountain that you see right to the west of you. So right to the east of that, as the 15 curls around to the right-hand side, the fire will be on the left-hand side, the western part of the 15. But this is an idea of how big that plume of smoke and how much is blowing to the west. This is an idea of how much you can see that smoke from San Diego. You're seeing this vantage point from Mira Mesa right now. So next up will be Scripps Ranch, right? And then you're going to get into that southern Rancho Bernardo, Carmel Mountain area, and then it'll be Rancho Bernardo west, on the west of the 15, where the fire is burning right on the other side, on the northeastern side of Black Mountain there.
Okay, and what's important to note, you see the direction of that smoke. Eric, you mentioned it, the smoke is moving to the west. These winds are coming out of the east. Santa Ana winds, those prime conditions for a fire to spread, especially on a dry, brushy hillside, like what we've been seeing where this sparked, it looks like. So as our photographer Kenny gets closer, of course, we do want to point out to so many people that are seeing this. This is being called the Center Fire. San Diego Fire Department, they are on it. As we've seen repeatedly with a lot of these fires, they send a lot of crews, a lot of engines. We will likely see aircraft hopefully flying out there soon if they're not out there already, making those drops. That'll be critical in this. And since the wind is pushing this towards the west, you see that plume going towards the west, towards the coast, they will likely set up a line on the west side to try to keep this from spreading that direction. So for a lot of those homes, apartments, businesses in that intersection there seem to be on the east of that brushy hillside. Still, of course, they would like you to stay out of their way, and they will likely issue those evacuation notices. At this point, though, that Genesis app, if you don't have that, that is an important one to get to see if you are under a mandatory evacuation order or not.
The only thing that may be good about the location of this, there are a lot of fire breaks. There are a lot of windy roads. There is some brush in the area just to the south of this. Black Mountain's still a mile or two away from this. These are folks that know about fires. They should know how to escape. They should know how to evacuate. They are used to this. In the early 2000s, some of those major fires that we had were just northwest of this in that Forest Ranch, Scripps Ranch area, just to the northwest of this is where those broke out. So this is a little further southeast, just west of the 15, but nonetheless in a very busy area, some neighborhoods. You've got a mix of residential as well as industrial in this area with some pretty big buildings with hundreds of employees that probably are on standby for evacuation orders at this point.
And you know, the Genesis app, like yesterday with the fire near Fashion Valley off Friars, quickly issued those warnings. You saw them right there posted. At this point, we do not see the evacuations in place through that link. So we're watching this neighborhood obviously very closely. Our newsroom making calls and checking on any updates. And we can tell you that tankers and crews are being requested right now. Incident command is set up, and they are calling on as many resources as they can to get to this fire. This view likely from the mountain there, as you see towards the center fire, the wind again showing the direction of that smoke towards the west. So that indicates Santa Ana winds, as we've been warning about all week. We know the brush is dry. The air is extremely dry. We are under a red flag warning that was actually extended. We were supposed to get a break from all of this today, but these Santa Anas are continuing, and we have that high wind watch as well, as Evan's been reporting all morning. So unfortunately, these conditions are not ideal for the firefighting efforts, but we know our San Diego Fire Department has time and time again showed up in full force to try to get these things under control.
Keeping an eye on some of my neighborhood apps here, and I'm seeing one person, a community member, posting some pretty black, dark black smoke coming up the side of some of the brushy areas off that Camino Del Norte area, but also at the same time saying that the firefighters, quote, are in it right now and lots of air support. So again, we have Chop Rate on the way as well, ground crews, to see what this firefight looks like right now. But no doubt, with our clearer skies out there, you're seeing this smoke from across San Diego County right now. It is coming just west of the 15 in southern Rancho Bernardo area, Camino Del Norte, as you head west from the 15 into the community of Forest Ranch. But at this moment, it's still just to the east of there. So it's burning near Turtleback Elementary School. There's also a Kinder Care Center, as well as Sony Electronics. HP headquarters are based there as well. There's elementary school. There's also several apartment complexes, and there's a senior living center. So a lot of people, a lot of workers in this spot right here. So we're keeping a very close eye on this smoke plume. We've been looking at some of the apps. We know that one person has been injured with burn injuries. They were taken to the hospital, and structures remain threatened at this point. We can tell you that San Diego Fire Department is saying that evacuations are imminent. My guess is some are already underway right now. So again, Chop Rate on the way. As soon as we can get an aerial shot, we'll bring it to you. But these are some of the live cams we're seeing. That wind blowing that smoke plume to the west, almost diagonal dark plumes we're seeing at this point.
And as we're seeing the updates from San Diego Fire, the incident command, again, they're calling this the center fire, and it looks to be about 3 acres. So that's the latest count that we're seeing, these updates that are coming in. So it did spread in the last 10 minutes or so from 2 to 3 acres. And you see that hillside right there where that brush is on this map right there. Now, it looks like initially the call was made right there in the center of your screen, Camino Del Norte and Bernardo Center Drive. And there are pockets of brush in and around those units, those housing units. It looks like apartment complex, businesses, as Eric's been talking about, quite a few there, industrial, shopping centers, and a Kinder Care. So certainly a lot of people seeing this, concerned about what they're seeing outside their windows.
Our newsroom just getting us some information here that 2 additional tankers and 2 crews requested by Incident Command. This is per radio traffic here. Structure defense is being deployed along Paseo Montanoso. Again, that is a southern street that comes across Camino Del Norte. That Camino Del Norte, you've seen that exit before at the 15. That's how you get into that southern Rancho Bernardo area that brings you into Forest Ranch. That location has a lot of neighborhoods in it, as well as senior living facilities as well. So there is some dry brush. As you see on this map, what concerns me a bit is the dry brush that's off the interstate can go into that ridge right there. And here's our live shot from Chop Rate. You can see the width of the smoke here. And you can also see what I was talking about how many neighborhoods are in this area. And you can see that water drop. Here comes our heroes right now with that flame retardant, hoping to knock this fire down. Still waiting on an update on acreage, but they're worried that this could get up to 100 acres. Right now, they're making those drops to keep it very low.
And looking at that hillside, at least we can see there are homes on the bottom, of course, which of course could be threatened, but the hillside, there's nothing at the top there. We know that fires go quickly uphill. That's what we saw yesterday in Fashion Valley, where those apartments were sitting at the very top of that hill. So in this case, as the wind is pushing, it does look like it's moving uphill quite quickly with that moderate rate, as the fire department's reporting, but we are seeing that brush, those medium-sized fuels, as they refer to these, lighting up there. You see the little bits of darker smoke mixed in with that lighter smoke, indicating that it's light fuel to moderate fuel, medium-sized fuel. Not giant trees that can send those embers flying, at least, but that hillside certainly is dry. You see just how browned that brush is, and on this side, the top vantage point of that hillside, at least, there are no homes. It doesn't look like, at least from this view.
And I'm getting a better idea of where this is at based on the map and just knowing the area. This is near Preserve Hilltop. There is an area that's just west of the Deerwood Apartments that's open space. It's actually a hiking area, which makes sense because now, as you're seeing, there's this little ridge here with little hiking paths and everything. It's not a huge area. It is contained by fire breaks. On the south, you got Bernardo Center Drive. The west, you've got Dove Canyon Road, but there are some homes that you're seeing in the southern part, the south, the bottom part of your screen here. And then off to the north, there's Camino San Bernardo. And then on to the east, you've got that Camino Del Norte as a fire line. But as you see, as Netta pointed out, that fire likes to climb up, and it can do quickly with the fires that we have here and the winds that we have here. It doesn't look like it's reached the top of the ridge here, but you saw that fire drop right at near the top of the ridge. They're hoping that they can prevent it from moving any further west at this point.
Going quickly up and then down that hill, that certainly would be concerning. We do want to show you also on the left side of your screen here, our photographer that's there trying to drive to the scene right now. You see a lot of traffic, so a lot of people are likely hoping to get out. There's another water drop, it looks like, helicopter getting water from water sources, lakes nearby, filling up and dropping time after time to make sure that there's some sort of line around this. The fire retardant will certainly help. So it's at least good to see that we have aircraft in place. They are able to fly in conditions like this right now, which sometimes if the wind is too strong, as we saw in LA, those aircraft could not fly. So at this point, wind speeds still seem to be safe enough where they can fly and get a better handle. So you see at the bottom of your screen that line of homes. That fire looks to be going up the hill and towards the west. So west of this hillside, that's likely where they're going to be going to those neighborhoods, letting people know. But this is awfully close to a neighborhood there with the street. Paseo Montanoso is where they have structure protection.
You're looking east at the fire right now. So that's why you're seeing the 15. See in the background there, all those cars going back and forth? That's the 15. That's how close this is to the 15 freeway. And as you see that fire burning up, I can tell you, having known the area here just west of that, there's an aquifer where there is water. I saw it the other day. It looked like they had plenty of water, so that may be helping with some of the bucket drops if they need to get it quickly. You can see that smoke going up that ridge here. This is an area that doesn't have homes in this stretch right here, but if that fire should get down to the south, then you're talking about some of the areas near Dove Creek. There's a Montessori school. There's a couple different neighborhoods in that area, so they want to make sure that that doesn't head down the ridge at all, which is why you're seeing a lot of aircraft in that area. We are seeing some people, some residents on some of the neighborhood apps saying, hey, get out there now and try to wet down any brush that you have. If you haven't gotten your evacuation order, there is a little bit of panic that's happening. Exactly.
Yeah. And, you know, on Avenida de los Lobos, I'm just looking at the map. That seems to be north and extending west of this hillside where it looks like the fire's burning. So anything west of that hillside, it does seem like it's a good idea to just be prepared. And you might be seeing law enforcement there on the streets. They are providing that structure protection, we should say, on Paseo Montanoso. That's what we're getting now. Okay, let's see if there's another update here, evacuation areas.
Yeah, and just on the other side of that southern ridge, as you're looking that up here, Netta, I can tell you Cayenne Ridge Road is on the other side of this smoke, and there's plenty of homes in that area, as well as Santanella Street. Santa Tomasa Avenue is also on the other side of this fire. Some of those homes perhaps in that area that you're seeing on the bottom of your screen right here. I am seeing a little bit of dissipation from the smoke here, which is some good news. Also not as dark of plumes, I've noticed, as we saw earlier on, but yes, you can still see active flames in the center of your screen. So no